Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to a Little on Health Rambling. Today is Saturday, May 29th, 2010. It's around 6 o'clock. Basically doing one of these today because, A, it's Sarah's 30th birthday. So, yay, happy birthday, Sarah. And if you don't know who Sarah is, then you probably don't know me, but you maybe have heard of her, in which case, no big deal. But if you know Sarah, go ahead and send her a little happy birthday invite. The more the merrier, and the more well wishing, the better. But also because a lot of people mentioned, actually the video I did yesterday, I also talked about the very end of my gaming collection, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which apparently I did on the video previously too, the video before that. In which case, honestly, a week goes by, I have a stack of games, so I just pick one and review them, in which case, oops, I did the same one again. The cool thing was, out of everybody that watches these, basically two people sent me an email within 12 hours saying, hey, what the F? Nobody really cares, but it's just nice to see that actually people watch these and notice stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But I kind of want to do one for today because today's been kind of eventful. Basically got a phone call from my stepmom today saying, hey, they're in town for Memorial Day and whatnot, and they want to kind of hang out. So we did a breakfast. They came by, picked me up. It was with my stepmom, my dad, and my half-sister, Mackenzie. Went out to Denny's, had some breakfast, which was nice. I usually don't have breakfast. Went to Sam's Club, looked around. Came back here, watched Kung Fu Panda, in which case, actually, I do have I'll have actually a little picture later on of us watching it in a video at the very end of this video of them watching. I was just kind of trying to weasel in a little bit of camera time so you can see them hanging out. It's just a little bit of my place too, but I'll mention that and talk about that later. But then after we left here, went out to Walmart, just kind of did a little shopping around about some new pants, like anybody cares. Then went to my mom's because she has a dog. We kind of hung out there for a while. My sister hooked up her Wii I hooked up my sister's Wii to my mom's TV because my dad had it, but he wasn't using it anymore. And then we went to dinner at Red Lobster, which was kind of fun. I got flounder. Usually I'm not a big fish fan. I'm like, hey, whatever, flounder. I haven't had that in a while. And now I know why I don't usually get fish food. For some reason I'm not that big of a fan. But I got into Go Box, in which case Rufus has eaten some of it and loves it, which is, good for Rufus. And then that was basically it. That's how I spent most of my day today. But what I'm going to do now is just kind of go over some quick net news and then do another batch of games right here because I want to kind of make up for the ones I did before. But real quick, let's go ahead and talk about some gaming news. Or not, there's no really gaming news. Talk about some really regular news. Right off the top here. Apparently, well, not apparently, Gary Coleman is dead. He apparently died the other day at 42, which is sad. A lot of you may or may not remember Gary Coleman, but you probably do. So it's just sad to see him die. But, whatever, people do die. And then, of course, actually today, Dennis Hopper died today, basically at the age of 74, which is kind of also sad. But as everybody says, it always happens in threes. That whole saying, hey, blah, 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 they happen in threes, celebrity deaths, so who knows what's going to happen next. So that's just kind of something interesting to watch out for. And of course, GAM FAQs, their question, their poll of the day is, do you play video games more or less often than you did a year ago? A year ago, I was still employed, so it's about the same as I play now. Basically, when I was unemployed, I played a lot more, and never really played less. This is kind of, I usually do about 3 to 4 hours a day, from coming from home to work, eating dinner, and then playing, and going to sleep. And on the weekends, I usually do, basically 6 to 8, all depending on what I got done, what I got to do for the day. Days like today, I'm not going to be gaming that much because I'm doing this, and then I spent a lot of time with the family, which was kind of fun. Which is nice having family come over. They rarely do, and they haven't really been over here since basically, let me go ahead and zoom this out real quick. Whoop. They haven't been over here since I moved everything around the house. Since like December, I moved everything around and consolidated everything into my one main room here. So it's kind of nice to see them come by. They also saw what I've been doing with the lawn and whatnot. And actually, let me see real quick. See, I got this picture here. And here's a picture of actually, this is them watching Kung Fu Panda. As they were watching it, I was working on reviews. But this is kind of like my main setup here. As you can see, that's me doing my usual stance. But that's Mackenzie, my half-sister and whatnot. And that's, of course, Rufus. She was chasing Rufus around and whatnot. And that's kind of just my main couch center and whatnot. And at the end of this, I'll put the video of them all watching Kung Fu Panda on my bed. I used to have 2 couches in my main room, but when I consolidated everything, I moved my bed in here. But we'll see that at the end of this after the cat video. But let's go ahead here and just go ahead and let's see what we got. Let's go ahead and talk about the games I got here, which are going to be, I'm going to do a big stack of them now just because I feel bad and I want to get some out of the way. So here we go. Katamari Damacy. Everybody remember this one? Katamari Damacy, the original one? Now, this game basically pioneered the Japanese wackiness. Usually these types of games never get brought over here. But this one did because it was colorful and vibrant. And this game, the big to-do about in the beginning was, it was a $20 game. it was an excellent game and very hard to come by. A lot of the game stores were only getting like 2 or 3 copies, and the employees were snagging them up, which was interesting. But it was just like a cult classic, a cult hit. It was an awesome, fun game, something new, something vibrant, something wacky for us, and everybody just loved the hell out of it. So much that everybody loved it so much, they made another game called We Heart Katamari, in which case everybody loved the game so much that they made another one. I, of course, bought the other one. In which case it was also just more Japanese wackiness, more of the King of the Cosmo and the Prince. Really enjoyed the second one, and this just kind of carries on the legacy of the Katamari games. Unfortunately, after this, as a brief little side note, I played the PSP one. Didn't like it that much because of the PSP controls, which I always mention are my issue with PSP games. Then they released a 360 version, which I don't have. I played, I rented it, and I hated it because the 360 version, literally, the game was a discount game, but more than half the content was locked out, and you would have to download through DLC codes to unlock the rest of the game, which is on the disc. And that's just horrible and absurd. And I hate that with a vengeance when they do stuff like that. So that's why, unfortunately, I've never played to completion the other Katamari games. And I know they released another one on the PS3 and whatnot. But honestly, after the second one, which is probably the only other one I played fully, I haven't really dived back into Katamari. I kind of, not going to say it's lost its charm, but they've kind of started doing other weird things besides just rolling up stuff, and it kind of just got old. I would extremely love for them to do a high-res one, which would be almost near impossible with all the amounts of objects and whatnot. But a high-res Katamari Damacy would just be freaking awesome. But that's those two games, and now I just want to, of course, kind of touch on the game I keep talking about the past 2 days when I mentioned Vice City, which is going to be Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. This was kind of, everybody remembers this game. This is the game that basically Rockstar made after Vice City. This was going to be their huge game, and this game is huge. I mean, the map for this game is just freaking absurd. I'm trying to think real quick if I have... Give me 2 seconds here, people. Let me bring up my computer real quick, which you can kind of all see my crazy stuff, which I'm going to hopefully... Oh, you won't see this because it's behind my thing, which is awesome. There was a recent thing. Where is it here? Here we go. Okay, pulling this back out here. This picture right here, San Andreas, yeah, we know what it is. Okay. This basically, San Andreas was a huge world back in the day. And let's see here. Up here, you can see this is regular Grand Theft Auto, size-wise. Grand Theft Auto 3. And then you have the second one underneath it, which is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which was a big game for its time. The main problem with a lot of people, zoom back out, a lot of people was basically... It was way too big of a game, in which case they really swung for the fences on this one. It was pretty good most of the way. They introduced a couple new things, but it was just too big. There was too much driving from point A to point B. And a lot of people actually stopped playing this game at the David Cross section, in which case it was awesome having all these voice actors and whatnot. But the missions just got so absurd and kind of not broken, but just not too challenging, just almost kind of broken to a point. But a lot of people, I remember hearing a lot of people giving up on San Andreas. I almost did, but I kind of plowed through that, and you could cheat your way through most of it. But San Andreas, it was a good game, kind of swung for the fences, though, and was too big for its time. But basically, like I said before, 3 was really great, but after that, Vice City was okay. San Andreas, just way too big for its britches. A lot of good, ambitious things, but no, didn't really enjoy it that much. But those are the 3 games I kind of want to get out of the way, so I feel bad. Thank you, everybody, for reminding me, hey, you did those games already. I'm sorry for all the zooming and unzooming, but this actually has... I got two power hits while recording these, and this is my 3rd time saying these things, so I may have dropped some things and didn't drop some things. But what it comes down to is thank you, everybody, for watching and commenting. Happy birthday to Sarah. And stick around for the end of this after the cat video, after the cat picture, because I have a video of kind of my family just a little chilling here and watching the movie. So, thanks for watching, and I will, as often, catch you next time.